aim of this lesson is to teach strategies to use when you're reading that will improve your comprehension of a text. I will think out loud as I'm answering comprehension questions, so you'll be able to watch and hear the processes that a good reader uses. The first strategy to use is to vary the speed of your reading, depending on 1. Your purpose. What do you want to get from the material? 2. The nature and difficulty of the material. So the harder it is, the slower you read. And 3. The amount of previous experience you've had with this subject. Here's implementing that reading strategy. 1. Read all of the passage fairly rapidly to get the gist of the text as a whole. Some comprehension questions require you to put clues together from the whole passage. 2. Underline key words in the question, which makes sure you read the question. 3. Skim, which means read very quickly, looking for phrases that answer the question. 4. Once you find a phrase or paragraph that answer the question, read it very slowly. And 5. Underline keywords or phrases in the passage that answer the question. The first thing that I went and did in the reading passage was go ahead and underline all the headings and also the subheadings. And from these headings, you're going to get a really good idea of the purpose of the text and also the tone of the text. Now, from this heading, salinity and environmental emergency, the word emergency immediately alerts us to both the tone and the purpose. This is a call to action, this particular text. And look, the first thing I'd encourage you to do with all these passages is to read all of it. So go through, try and read it reasonably fast, and look at the diagrams as well. So this one has diagrams, and that will help you to understand the text that you've just written. Once you've read it all, then go to the question and look, underline the key words. So you can see for the first question here, I've underlined in blue and just picked out a couple of key words. So implied, and that's part of the reason why it's important to read the whole text and not just bits and pieces, because you'll get these implications coming from the whole text, these suggestions of what it's about, that salinity effects. Now, what I love about this particular question is it tells us exactly where to look. It tells us to go and look in the cost section. So we've just got a paragraph to go over. So what I've done is I've just gone and underlined all the different things in that paragraph that it talks about, that salinity effects. So farming, production, also the extinction of 1,000 species of Australian plants and animals. Salinity also damages water pipes, roads, houses and parks. And then it goes on to give some examples in Wagga Wagga and also in the Murray River. So going through the different ones, in the section called costs, is implied that salinity affects mainly the city of Wagga Wagga and the Murray River. I don't think so. I think they're just examples. An unimportant part of society and the environment. Now, looking at our headings, straight away we've gone, well, no, I think the author thinks this is really important. It's an emergency. Numerous aspects of society and the environment. That one's the best answer so far. Now, some of these comprehension questions can be tricky because there are a couple that could be correct. That one's, I think, the best answer so far. Mainly farmers and their equipment. Now, look, it does talk about farmers, but I think the best answer is that third one. So look, I'll take my little dot and I'll drag it over, and I'm going to place it onto the third one there. Now, the next question, in the section called costs, the city of Wagga Wagga is mentioned too. So again, I'd go to our costs section, and I'd go straight to where it says Wagga Wagga. Sorry, there I am, just dragging it across. I'm a little bit slow, as you've possibly picked up. I'm doing the voiceover and the actual images separately, so they're not quite matching, but I'll do my best. So why is Wagga Wagga mentioned? Well, you can see I've highlighted there in green, or underlined it there in green, and it says, I know exactly where it is, so I'm going to read this bit slowly. So remember, we firstly read fast and we go back and we find a bit that we want to read it. So in the city of Wagga Wagga, this type of damage costs over $3 million each year. So that's what it's talking about. So that sentence, what does it match best? Wagga Wagga is mentioned to describe how rural towns are responding to the salinity crisis. No, it's talking about the cost. It's not talking about the response. So I don't think that one's right. Give a real-world example of the high costs associated with salinity. Look, I think that could be the answer. Show that the costs of salinity are trivial when distributed. No, as soon as it says trivial, we know that's not the author's intent. Show that the costs of salinity are restricted to rural areas and country towns. No, it talks about Adelaide, so I don't think it's that one. I think the best answer is B. And look, I've already gone and dotted, or that second one, I've already gone and put that one in. Okay, the next question. The section called slow change suggests that Australian society. So again, I can go straight to slow change and again read the whole paragraph slowly. For many years, the practices that led to today's salinity problems went on without anyone knowing the consequences. This was because the effects of land clearing on water tables were not immediately obvious. Similarly, the effects of changing these practices will not become noticeable for decades because it will take that long for seedlings planted now to become trees and restore water tables to their natural levels. So, what is it suggesting? That Australian society is as ignorant about salinity as it always has been? No, I don't think it's saying that. It's saying it's more slow. Maybe about to cause another environmental emergency. Maybe. Needs to act now if salinity is to be prevented in the future. Look, I think that one's the best one so far. We'll be unable to predict the consequences of preventing salinity. No, I think we know what's going to happen. So I think it's the third one. And again, I'm a little bit ahead up there. So great. Figure 1 shows, so we'll go to our figures. We've got 2, a rising water table. Well, we know straight away that that's wrong because the second one talks about a rising water table. A stable environment. Look, I think it could be that one because we've got all those lovely green trees. And there I am actually picking it out. I don't think the title or the heading gives us as much information with this particular piece of writing. Almost immediately, though, reading it, we can tell that it's a creative writing. That's whereas the last piece of writing was obviously factual on salinity. So again, read the entire text, read all the way through the passage, get all the way through it, and then start looking at the question. So again, read rapidly at the start. So Mort says, I'm a poor ignorant coot and I just talk words. This suggests that Mort is. So we'd find that passage there. So once we've found it, again, we'd read slowly. That said Mort, dismissing body language and setting up the fish. Yeah, I've heard about that. I'm only a poor ignorant coot and I just talk words. Pull up a chair, will you, before this fish gets cold. So does it suggest that Mort is deliberately understating his skills? Yeah, I think it could be. That's a maybe. Making it clear how little he knows. I don't think so. I don't think that's what Mort's doing. Indirectly gaining the ranger's sympathy. Maybe, but no, I don't think that really says. Maybe it does, but I don't think that's what it's really saying. Acknowledging the wisdom of the ranger. No, I don't think that's what it is. I think the best answer is that it's deliberately understating his skills. So I just take it from the top there and place it on that top one. So the next question. Thumped his own thick brush on the floor again. What is one effect of this description of Blue's behaviour? So again, we'd find where that section is, and we read slowly. So that was where he was banging. I took his brush to be banging his tail on the ground. So it's where he gives him food. He broke off the tail of the fish and passed it to Blue, who took it neatly and thumped his own thick brush on the floor again. So the whole thing is talking about how intelligent that Blue is. It presents Blue as an untrusting dog. No. It supports an opinion presented by the ranger. Yeah, I think that could show Blue's intelligence. It suggests that the ranger has misinterpreted Blue. It casts doubt. Look, I think it's the second one. I think it supports an opinion presented by the ranger. So the next question, how did you teach him those words, eh? What is the effect of the ranger's repeated question to Mort about teaching blue, and you'll be noticing how I've got the key kind of things underlined. So he's got this, he repeatedly asks him this question. Do they make Mort seem rude? No. No, I don't think they do. They make the ranger seem unintelligent? No, I don't think they do. They suggest that the ranger knows the answer he wants. Yes, I think it's like when a teacher asks a question, you have to try and guess what's in their head. They suggest that Mort and the ranger are playing a game. Look, I think that it's the third one. They suggest that the ranger knows the answer he wants. I think that's what he's doing. He wants him to understand that Blue the dog is very intelligent, and that's where I'll put that one on that third one. The final question is again a quote. No, I didn't. Towards the end of the text, so again, I love it when they show us exactly where it goes. No, I didn't. How then? Did you go through some routine like breaking in a horse? No, you drongo. I didn't have to. A man just says them often enough. So is Mort feeling bored? No, I don't think so. Angry? Maybe. Terrified? No. Defensive? I think it's angry or defensive, and I think probably I'm going to go with defensive as the best answer. Again, I don't think the title reveals all that much. We've got where on earth are you? And then we've got this great image of a satellite beaming down towards Australia with the big image of the world as well. So again, first step, read through the entire passage, get the gist of it. So read through as fast as you can. And once you've got it down, let's get on to that first question. Write the numbers 1 to 4 in the boxes to show the stages of the commercial availability of GPS from its origins, 1, to its likely future, 4. So, I mean, it starts with saying that 20 years ago, the Global Positioning System, GPS, was for the use of military personnel only. So the fact that it was only for them means that the first one needs to be denied. So again, you needed to go through and underline the important things. So number 1 is origin. It was commercially denied to people, so we'll put a 1 in denied. And then it becomes a matter, once you've done that, of working out the steps, the natural kind of progression. So if 1 is denied, then the next is limited, where it goes 2 in limited, 3 common. Now I've circled pervasive because I've said, look, I don't know what that word means. And when you come across this in any texts or anything that you're reading where you don't know a word, find out. So go to Google, type in pervasive, and find out that it means everywhere. So which is obviously the step above common. So I'll put a 4 in next to pervasive as well. The next question, some internet services act like a beacon, paragraph 2, again, love to know exactly where to go. So this is where you then go and find it. In context, acting like a beacon suggests, so let's go to paragraph 2 and find exactly where it is and read it slowly. Some internet services act like a beacon, showing friends and potentially anyone else using the application where you are at a particular time. Some retailers offer smartphone applications that can tell users the location of their nearest store, whether they might be at the time. So it's both kind of positive and negative there. If we go through the different options, illuminating a problem area, no, I don't think so. Giving away information, yeah, maybe. Sending a greeting, well, it does, but I think giving away information is better, or issuing a warning. I'm going to go for the second one there. So I'll drag that down and put it on number 2. The final question, identity theft and security breaches are mentioned to illustrate. So remember that this is right down the bottom. So I'll read that slowly. And then there are the risks for personal security. A robber could know precisely when a person is withdrawing money from a bank, or a burglar could work out when to break into people's houses. Those scenarios may seem far-fetched, but the epidemic of identity theft and security breaches in recent years should raise some concerns about how well marketeers will protect location information. So Is that the ways the military have used GPS? No. Is that the ways of controlling abuses of GPS? No. Offences that may arise from abuse of GPS, I think that's the best answer so far. The third one. Offences that are more serious, no, I think it's the third. So I will drag that down to number 3. So just to recap the key points of the lesson. First, vary the speed of your reading. And here's a quick way to do it. 1. Read all of the passages fairly rapidly to get the gist of the text as a whole. Some comprehension questions require you to put clues together from the whole passage, and you would have seen that from the questions that we've covered. Underline key words in the question, which makes sure you read the question. Skim, read very quickly, looking for phrases that answer the question. 4. Once you find a phrase or a paragraph that answers the question, read it very slowly. And 5. Underline keywords or phrases in the passage that answer the question. And that's it. That's a lesson. You've made it. Thank you so much for watching. I will be bringing out more videos very shortly. So look, if you've enjoyed this one, please subscribe at the bottom right. And apart from that, thanks once again for watching.